Wrestle Plug 444 Live.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to hashtag get plugged in. The refreshing, empowering moment that we have all wanted from WWE.
It's like ordering a medium pizza and then turning up with an extra large and a bottle of Coke.
You absolute mouldy cheese fucking baby bell dairy lead dunk of shit.
What happens is these fucking people live in this fantasy land.
Everyone got their shit in, everyone got each other over, everyone looked good, and made the industry look great.
People need to fucking back the fuck off Ronda Rousey.
New to wrestling talent.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Monday, which means it's time for some retro nonsense. It's the Wrestle Plug, it's Manic Mondays, and that means I am your host, Marisnetti. And joining me for this brand new arc, we are away from the Alliance, and the time machine has us stuck in the year of 2004. Ladies and gentlemen, my co-host, Steve Neal.
Oh, we're not quite hearing voices in our head yet, but this is a time for us to talk about the year that made. Nice ad. See how I fucking did that? Professional. Pay us. Randy Orton is made in the year of 2004, and as we're recording this, he's literally just signed a new long-term deal with the WWE, ending no one's speculation that he might leave. So yeah, man, we're going to start off at the start of the year, go through pay-per-view by pay-per-view in this brand split era other than the big four, and we're going to dive straight in. And chronologically, that brings us to Royal Rumble 2004.
Indeed it does. What a fucking year 2004 was for many, many reasons. We haven't just picked it because it's the age of Orton, although we were, of course, big fans of the Legend Killer himself. There was a lot of incredible moments that come with 2004, actually, when we look back at the timeline. It's actually a very rich time period for WWE in terms of what they do. That doesn't mean, of course, that there aren't some horrendous moments in between for us to enjoy. And we're going to start at the very beginning of everyone's wonderful year in wrestling, and that, of course, is Royal Rumble.
Tonight, fate will rear his head. Destiny will play his hand. The road to WrestleMania begins tonight. And now, Raw and SmackDown present WWE Royal Rumble.
With 17,289 fans selling out the Wachovia Center here in Philadelphia, we welcome you to the 17th annual WWE Royal Rumble.
WWE Royal Rumble 2004, to be exact. Oh, baby, I cannot wait for this. And of course, many people will know why this Royal Rumble is famous, but we're about to tell you why. So, Mr. Neal, Royal Rumble 2004. From the smarkiest of smarky places on Earth, Philadelphia, in front of 17,289 people in the Wachovia Center. January 25th. 2004, a Raw and SmackDown pay-per-view, because at this point we have the brand split. Are we feeling good about 2004? Is this something you're looking forward to getting your teeth into?
2004, and I think we'll discuss it probably when we get to the end of the year as well, there was a hint, and only a hint, of WWE pressing a little bit of a reset button. You know, Austin is now just kind of a character. He's not an in-ring performer. Rock is, predominantly Hollywood based. Foley has theoretically retired. They feel like we need to bring in new stars, new faces, and really start to build them. And Randy Orton's one of them, Batista, John Cena. They give, bigger platforms to Guerrero and Benoit and these sorts of guys, Jericho, Edge. So it feels like we're building with this sort of newer, younger, fresh crop of talent who are coming to the forefront, Rey Mysterio as well. But that doesn't mean that to open up your Royal Rumble, you're not going to get a man who must be about 912.
Woo! Fresh talent, you say.
Fresh talent. Evolution.
Mate, I pop so much. Just like, for the world, Finkel's still around, which is surprising to me.
Amazing.
World Tag Team Championship table match, and it's the Dudley Boys versus Evolution. It's fucking amazing. I couldn't believe. Yes, fucking Evolution. What a state of your affairs you have here. Fucking. By the way, Bubba Ray, the state of your shorts, bro. What are you doing in those? You look ridiculous. You look like every fat man has gone to a caravan park I've ever seen. Yeah, Dudley Boys versus the reigning tag team champions, Batista and Ric Flair.
This was a match that happened. That's about all I've got in terms of analysis. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. It's fucking awful. I hated it. It was Ric Flair doing some chops, a tease of a WhatsApp spot, and Batista being an animal and being really strong. And it was very short as well. It felt really short. It was, what was it, 5 minutes, something like that, if that?
Yeah, all the matches were very short,
Short bar one. Yeah, no, I really didn't enjoy this match. Evolution retained. They come out, still the tag champions after Batista smashed Bubba Ray. I mean, I really like Batista and what kind of Batista went on to, and this was a really, really good vehicle. Evolution was a great vehicle for Randy Orton and Batista to kind of get them over and help them cut their teeth and give them, the luster and the prestige being around Ric Flair and Triple H. But it was just, I did not care one fucking iota about this match. And the same with the Dudleys being in it as well. The Dudleys, it was just past the point where anyone cared at this moment in time, to be quite honest, of them being in WWE. It's like, oh yeah, Dudleys are in a tables match. Oh, okay. We've only been seeing that for the last 5 years at every other pay-per-view. But yeah, it was fine. It was shit. It was terrible.
I'd like to defend this match because I really liked it, the Evolution as a premise. It's funny, actually. I can hear Nick Payne fapping from here, by the way, over Evolution. Like all of his favourites in one block. One of the biggest problems that this whole match suffers from is the fact that the Dudley Boys are not they're seasoned workers, but they're not guys, they're not the Daniel Bryans of the tag division. You're not going to send the Dudley Boys out and say, you guys, get a good match out of these guys. Like, Batista's very green at this point. It really shows. Like, we're still, still kind of remnants of Deacon Batista about him, and his promo wasn't fantastic either. He was like, what is it with you guys in matches? Kick ass! Just shouting things like a very angry Roy Hartman.
I mean, we whipped your ass at Armageddon. We kicked your asses all over Raw. We're about to beat your asses again tonight. I mean, you guys are the biggest three-time losers since the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's fine because it's short. That's kind of what I have written down here. Because of the length of the match, I'm not too fussed. It ends really abruptly as well, doesn't it? Like, Devon gets in, wham, right for the table, done. Like, the one thing I am impressed with is how Ric Flair, even at this stage, he's still taking some pretty meaty bumps for a guy his age. So he took a back body drop on the outside, takes his patented top rope bump, and when you're that age, I wouldn't really expect you to be doing anything bump-wise. And yet, here he is, kind of, digging his way in and putting in a shot. I actually thought, out of the four guys, he was the best worker. Which probably speaks volumes about with this match, actually. When you think about it, like, well, that's an issue in itself. So it is what it is. Tag team affairs have been opening wrestling, well, since I can remember, but it is kind of sad that it's got to this point, especially in 2004. You've got a plethora of great talents, and as you saw on the flip side of things as well, on the current side of SmackDown, the Bashams are the tag team champions, which is not really that better.
If the Bashams got booked on the tiniest indie where they never get any wrestling names, they would not sell one additional ticket. I guarantee. Who the fuck are the Bashams?
The Bashams are one of those tag teams, aren't they? They get booked on 5-Star Wrestling presents Newcastle or something like that.
Yeah.
Guys who would turn up and they'd wrestle Scotty 2 Hotty and Grandmaster Sexay, God rest his soul.
In their 60s.
Yeah, exactly. They're that kind of tag team. They're just...
Who the fuck are the Bashams? I swear they play for Oxford. Fucking beat 'em up Basham back in the day. Scotty Basham.
To be fair, you mentioned Oxford. I mean, a couple of them do look a little bit like Paul Mooney. So, I mean, it's not completely out of the realms of possibility. And I love the fact that everyone's like, who the fuck is Paul Mooney? How I can hear the Americans scrambling for the keyboards. But yeah, I've got down here 2.5 out of 5. I've tried to rank every match out of 5. I've given it 2.5. Yeah, he is generous, but I've given it because I like Ric Flair talking shit, especially afterwards when he's like, "Woo, woo!"
Yeah, he's like offering out someone in the crowd, and I swear the person in the crowd's actually just clapping him and enjoying himself. And Ric Flair's still like, "Fuck you, I'll fight you."
Fucking off his tits at this point.
He really is off his tits.
I've given it 2.5, and 2 of that is for Ric Flair, and 0.5 is for Batista's incredible haircut. The jorts, mate, that knocked at least 2 off of it. Stay those jorts. Wow, Josh Matthews and John Cena backstage. That's right, Josh Matthews and John Cena, who apparently have time travelled in from 1996 boy band era by the look of it. I'm never critiquing.
State of your earring, mate.
Mate, Michael Cole, right? I used to give him some shit for the frosted tips, the Backstreet Streets back, Michael Cole. Josh Matthews has completely trumped this on a level that I've never seen. What are you wearing, mate? My God, like this goes against humanitarian rights. I'm pretty sure.
BB Mac. There's a shit mid-noughties boy band that Josh Matthews looks like he could have been in.
Mate.
BB fucking Mac.
Wow. Like, I'm still trying to work out what it actually is. It is horrific on so many levels. I've never seen anything like it. It's pretty special. And John Cena's in Dr. Thugonomics mode. Now, I know for a fact that you're not going to like this, but I really enjoy this because I love Dr. Thugonomics. Do you know why I like it? Because I hate the current rendition of John Cena.
I hate them both.
There's no I hate all of it. Fuck you. I just hate modern day John Cena and this regurgitated boring crap about him being one of the greatest of all time, because he's not even close. But here at least he was putting work into his creative. Even if it was a shit gimmick to most, I enjoyed it because at least he cared. And although I don't really appreciate the substitute for swear words with things like freaking, that just annoys the crap out of me as well. I was like, gotta PG this shit up, even though this is 3 years before they officially denounced the PG rating.
He just makes loads of... The thing that I found with John Cena, and that I found boring then, and I find boring now, if I watch it back, well, it's like just loads of dick jokes. And it's like the first dick joke you hear, you're like, he's talking about his penis. And then after that, you're like, you're still talking about your penis. Everything was a gay joke as well. Like, it wouldn't work now, really, because Snowflakes would, like, people proper kick off about it being homophobic. And when you watch it back, you are a bit like, oh, John, that doesn't go with your current image particularly well there, John. Yeah, no, I never liked it. I didn't like it at the time. I just found it to be cringy as fuck. K-Fed was better. Justice for K-Fed.
No, we're not having that on this podcast. Absolutely not. You mention K-Fed again, I'll drive down there and slap you with my stop. I like the fact he got interrupted by RVD and then he makes weird jokes. Yay! That guy's been smoking that Mary Jane. Yeah, we know what Mary Jane is. You're not cool saying Mary Jane, you fucking cretin.
Like it's 1966. Fucking dick.
I think the time machine's been following us around. I like how we're getting these lovely little tie-ins from old eras that we've covered. Rey Mysterio is Cruiserweight Champion, defending against Jamie Noble with Blind Nydia. Now that's a gimmick I can get behind. Oh, fantastic. That is Vince McMahon in a nutshell. He's like, these Cruiserweights are too flippy. They don't have characters. You, be blind. And while you're at it, be a country bumpkin. It's money. Money. I was excited for this match. I thought this was going to be a fucking banger because I know just how good they are as wrestlers. We've seen what Rey Mysterio, Jamie Noble, former Ring of Honor champion, one of the most credible but smaller technical wrestlers going. Some would argue kind of like the Jerry Lynn of the modern age for a lot of people. Just a really, really cool wrestler. But this match lasts about 4 minutes, and that is a massive error. And this is what happens when you have two massive yahoos in the co-main event who decided that they want all the time. You know, the Royal Rumble match, we know that's going to take up the majority of the time, but Rey Mysterio retains in 4 minutes because Nydia accidentally trips up Noble instead. And I think later down the line we find out that actually she wasn't blind and she was just playing.
We're going to get all kinds of nonsense down the line, mate. Don't you worry about that.
Awesome. I look forward to that. Steve's ahead of me in the revision of all of these shows. It's fine. It's actually a really good match for the short time. It's just way too short. Mysterio hits a 619 and drops the dime to get the win. And I was disappointed. I felt it was too short.
Yeah. And very anticlimactic. Like, you were seeing it, like, oh, this is good, starting to get going, and then, oh, okay. It's over now. It's like it didn't even feel like it had your starter of a match that should have like felt like a good filling 3 courses. But nope, fuck you. Vince hates the small people. Get out. Midget wrestling.
The first 3 midget wrestling. The first 3 matches I noticed ended very abruptly, almost as if they were told to go home immediately. It was almost like, right, that's it, you're done, get out of here. It's almost like they were all allotted more time than they actually were allowed to use, and then were cut short. Yeah, because this is another one where out of nowhere, bang, he gets tripped, and oh, okay, match is done. I gave it 3 out of 5 just because from a technical standpoint, it's actually really good. And this is the kind of match that if you gave them 20 minutes and let them just completely go at their own devices, you could easily get close to a 5-star with these two. I genuinely believe that. I think Jamie Noble's, when it's all said and done, he was a company guy and he was happy to just be there, wasn't he? And you could sense that fact. He was happy to be George Noble. But hey, John Cena, Jamie Noble does your gimmick better than you, mate. That's not a good thing. But 3 out of 5 I thought it was fairly reasonable. Next match is another match where you think, whoa, this is going to be good. There's Guerrero problems. Eddie Guerrero versus Chavo Guerrero. It's Family Feud 2004. The promo bill for this, by the way, was fantastic.
Really good, wasn't it? Really good.
Really? Do you know what? Chavo Guerrero, sneaky underrated, I feel. It really always in the shadow of Eddie, and I understand that because Eddie Guerrero is. That's the other thing as well. Watching this made me realise how much I miss Eddie Guerrero as an entertainer, a performer, how much of a legend he is. Wow, you can't replace people like that. You'll never be able to replace how special he was. I just got emotional watching it. I know No Way Out's going to be particularly emotional because of what that meant to Eddie Guerrero, but weird as well, the jump that you get from this to Eddie Guerrero in the main event of the next show.
Yeah.
Chavo Classic is out there, and again, this match, this is great for storytelling. The psychology of the match is actually fucking awesome, but again, left slightly wanting more from the wrestling. That's not to say it wasn't great. Technically, both guys were beautifully proficient. I love the story told by Eddie Guerrero of, I'm not going to lose my temper, beat the shit out of you, I'm going to out-wrestle you, and then I'm going to fucking kill you. Like, that's how it played out beautifully. I thought it was really nice. But again, way too short. Could have done with another 5, maybe even 10 minutes to tell a really special story. Ultimately, a really, really top-notch spectacle from psychology, just lacking in terms of time and chance to wrestle.
Yeah, and this is another one where it's a genuine blood feud. You know, we're going into it. This should have been something that went across multiple pay-per-views, really. In hindsight, it had that kind of potential. You know, in the Edge and Christian mold, if you will, from our alliance angle, you're left wanting more from this feud, but you don't, because Eddie suddenly jumps from battering his brother on the mid card as former they were tag champions who kind of turned on each other and dropped the belts. And all of a sudden, Eddie's going to jump to the main event, and, you know, Chavo's going to be kind of left in the mid card, still doing good stuff, having great matches, but, you know, never going on to that level. But we don't then see them it just felt disappointing. It felt like there was more of this story to tell straight after the show, but they were determined it was going to be a one and done. So they have Eddie kick the shit out of everyone at the end of the match. So the good guys kind of gone over and emphatically proved his superiority and emphatically proved his point, which is fine. That's absolutely fine. But it's a little bit disappointing that we didn't get more than just one from these two, to be fair. But yeah, good match. But my biggest takeaway is how wank was Chavo Guerrero's music. Fucking shit. Absolute jizz rag.
They'd obviously gone into a tapas bar the day before and just thought, that's bad. That's how it felt to me.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Ask Jeeves in 2004. Ask Jeeves. Mexican music.
MIDI music. That's what it felt like. It felt like something you put in your Nokia 33 as a fucking as a ringtone. It was pretty bad, to be fair. I'll splice that in so people understand what we're talking about. Redacted is backstage, and then he's interrupted by Evolution, and then by Redacted, I of course mean Brisk Kenra. I don't know, some guy. Very jarring actually to see him on screen still at this point, knowing what And just, 3 years later? Jesus Christ. I think it was not even that, maybe even 2 years later. But nonetheless, terrifying. Yeah, Chris Benoit's backstage, and then Ric Flair is coked off his bin. And he's so funny. He's pouring champagne down his penis. He's just like, woo! Woo! Chris Benoit, you used to be the man, but you're no longer the man, and you'll never be the man. It's like screaming at him. It's fucking brilliant. He's just like, Chris Benoit's like, all right, mate, ease up. Fucking hell. Like, I'm standing right here, bro. He's just like, you're a great wrestler, but you'll never be the wrestler. Woo! Just like, wow.
You're Chris Benoit. Oh, man. But, Chris, everybody knows you take second every time you go out there. You grab that big brass ring, you pull it down, but somehow it slides out of your hand. It's not about you. It's about Evolution. It's about the greatest tag team, about the greatest Intercontinental Champion. It's about the World Heavyweight Champion, Triple H. It's about us. It's a good day. Have a drink, brother. Come on, man. Woo! All right. Woo!
Fantastic promo. I gotta say, I'm loving Evolution. I'm also loving the fact that Randy Orton has done nothing tonight, and he's just swanning around in the back drinking champagne. Like, look how great I am. Oh,
I did think how much coke is Flair on, and also how did Charlotte Flair survive adolescence after Ric Flair screaming in Benoit's face? I assume that Benoit immediately wanted to go around and just cripple across face Charlotte Flair to death.
God.
Jesus Christ, what are you doing, Ric Flair? You're endangering the lives of everyone around you.
I actually thought it was pretty amazing, to be honest. I also like that. One thing I will say is Ric Flair did get the story across, because the story about this is Chris Benoit can't win the big one. He is Mr. Technical, world-class wrestler, but he's got no ability to be a star. That's his thing, and that's kind of what everyone thought of him anyway, didn't they? We always thought, here's this amazing technical wrestler with the charisma of a walnut. And
how many times has this story been told in the WWE?
Daniel
Bryan, CM Punk, Chris Jericho in the Alliance era that we just did. Literally just constantly, no, you're not going to be able to be a star. Ha 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 ha! We made them a star.
Mate. Going all the way back to Bob Backlund, he was
absolutely
position as well as Mr. Technical, but lacking in the charisma department. This is a really good way of getting over somebody who doesn't have a great promo or isn't a very lively, electric personality like a Chris Jericho or Rock. It actually does work because, we've seen what it did for people like Daniel Bryan. I mean, Daniel Bryan's gone on to kind of, shed that non-charismatic personality disorder that people claim that so many technical wrestlers have, but it works. It does work. So I can see this is one of the few times where WWE going back to the world does work. So fair play to them. Oh, baby. I can't wait for this. Main event, Hardcore Holly. Oh, baby. Holly, I like me now. It's main event, Hardcore Holly, taking on Brock Lesnar for the WWE title. Brock Lesnar defends his WWE title against Hardcore Holly, and the culmination of this angle is basically, again, good promo actually for what it was, considering that nobody gives a shit about Hardcore Holly, and the crowd certainly didn't give a shit. This is Philadelphia, mate. The most vocal crowd, and I'm pretty sure they audio edited quite a bit of it because they didn't have the copyright version for the pay-per-view music. But it was still pretty dead. It was crickets for this match. This match is based on the premise that Brock Lesnar legitimately, it should be said, broke Hardcore Holly's neck in a match. He dumped him on his head during a pile driver where he kind of gave up on him. And actually, if you look back at it, it's quite an unprofessional spot because he doesn't even make any attempt to save him. Just dumps him on his head. It was a pretty savage, and then kicks him in the head afterwards. Great stuff. Just terrifying. So Hardcore Holly legitimately broke his neck, missed about 15 months of action, but he's back. And he's back with a vengeance. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to kick Brock Lesnar's ass. Because that's believable in the whole grand scheme of things. And they have a match. A match with wrestling stuff. And by the way, the rest holds. Brilliant. Brock Lesnar and Hardcore Holly, the two preeminent powerhouse brawlers, need rest holds. Fucking rest holds! Fucking Hardcore Holly versus Brock Lesnar needs fucking rest hold. Fuck you. Right, I got fed up. Like, first one I could kind of understand. You got to take rest holds to kind of, especially if you're going to wing the match. I imagine Hardcore Holly is incredibly old school in that respect. So I thought, okay, fair enough. So they're probably doing this whole, let's work out a few more spots, because that's what it looked like. Rest hold, then 3 suplexes back to rest hold. The third rest hold is 1 minute and 20 long. 1 minute and 20? Fuck off. cretins, absolute cretins. You know Brock Lesnar's going to retain, and he retains pretty suddenly. Again, this match just ends abruptly with an F5 out of nowhere. I did like the Phil Nelson stuff, because Hardcore Holly had vowed that he would break his neck, and it looked really savage. It looked really savage.
I hated the commentary of he's going to break his neck with a full Nelson. What? When has that happened?
It's more so than the actual move itself, because I love the way he used that judo throw to break out of it the second time and hit the F5.
Yeah.
But it's not great, is it? Considering it's
Michael Cole going, he's going to break his neck, and with a full Nelson. How strong is Bob Holly's hands to push Brock Lesnar's fucking meaty neck to snap with just his hands? Shut up. Like his hands just on the back of his head, just pushing him forward. My God.
I will say Michael Cole does a really admirable job in this pay-per-view of selling the storylines. He was fantastic in the match. He was so...
Him and Taz were great together.
Yeah, I've got to say, Taz, not too bad either. I was ready to pan the shit out of him, and he wasn't actually that terrible.
No, I think they were a good partnership, actually. They complemented each other quite well, didn't they?
I thought they were almost on a level with the Raw team. When you've got Jerry Lawler and JR, the others, that's not an easy task. And I thought Michael Cole... Where's this Michael Cole now? He was fantastic at selling stuff. And this.
He was so enthusiastic, wasn't he? It's almost like the life's been drained out of him by Vince McMahon screaming in his ear for 15 years.
Yeah, but I've given this match 2.5 out of 5. I thought I was being reasonably generous with that. And Brock Lesnar looked great. He was in great condition doing. But you can tell even at this point, Brock Lesnar is on his I don't give a shit farewell tour.
The thing with this Brock Lesnar, though, is he still did some wrestling moves. It wasn't just German suplex and F5. Like, he's got a fisherman buster that I completely forgot that he did. And, a few other bits and pieces. Nothing, I'm not saying he was cracking out the shooting star or whatever. But there was just other moves to his arsenal rather than just Suplex City, 5 F5s, which is, what he cracks out now when he bumps when he can be asked. Like, this was actually, he did a few more wrestling moves. And if you're having if you're doing more wrestling moves in there with Bob Holly than you are when you're in there with Seth Rollins, there's a fucking problem to your attitude, Brock. Yeah, no. But the next match goes on for 9 days.
It has been 9 days. For the World Heavyweight Championship as the last match.
Excuse me, can I also just say, this World Heavyweight Championship, during the match, JR keeps calling it the richest prize in our game. And obviously, that becomes the B title for about 10 years on SmackDown afterwards. Very much the B title. But because it's on Raw and because it's on JR's show, but predominantly because it's round the waist of Triple H, it's the A title. Fucking ridiculous. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, no, you're bang on, actually. For the world's largest looking belt I've ever seen, the World Heavyweight the last man standing match, Triple H versus HBK. Again, great promo build-up, fantastic. For the better ones, actually. One of the upper echelons of build-ups. Love this storyline coming into it. Although Triple H looks like Val Kilmer on roids, which is very unsettling.
Yeah, weird face.
He's got the long hair, but he's got a clean shaven. He's got the thick nose as well.
Even his cheeks look roided in this period.
He looks
muscular cheeks.
Really bloated, actually. Like he's kind of struggling. Like he's kind of like fat muscle. It's very weird to look at. He's just huge. He looks like the Michelin Man, mate. He does. It's very strange. Like Val Kilmer, if he'd had far too much helium shoved up him. Very, very strange. This match is fine, but it's too long. And also, which is everyone, it annoyed me as well, because everyone else could have benefited from a couple of minutes off of this match. And on top of that, the one thing that really pissed me off is that they just got to the outside way too quickly. You're talking about one of the greatest wrestlers, if not the great, I would argue the greatest entertainment-based wrestler of all time, Shawn Michaels, versus Triple H, who is absolutely no slouch in the ring. Not the most exciting man ever, but he's fairly methodical. And here we are, fucking around with this shit. I'm like, it's straight to the outside, a lot of brawling, blading as soon as you fucking can as well. And I'm just like, do you know
blood
what?
Everywhere, isn't there?
Not not a patch on the SummerSlam match, the street fight from SummerSlam,
No.
which they showed clips of in the match. And also, I didn't think it was that graphic or violent. A couple of nasty little chair shots with the hands up at least, and some pretty. I mean, I love the spot where he went from the springboard crossbody and went through the announce table. Well, that was very cool. Shawn Michaels, even at this point, still willing to put his body on the line. We've still got at least 5 or 6 years of good Michaels left before he retires. I just felt that it was missing a little bit. And the crowd felt that way too. They were furious with the ending as well. The ending really pissed people. Seems that WWE haven't learned their lessons. I mean, we just saw that horrendous ending at Hell in a Cell with Bray Wyatt, etc. I know that they've obviously rectified that at Crown Jewel, but end of this match, it's last man standing, bearing in mind. And I liked the storytelling of it, but it needed a definitive ending because, you know, we're going into WrestleMania. I don't want to be a smark, but this felt like, Trips has got to look after his boy. He's got to look after his buddy. And HBK, you know, it's definitely an ending that's sort of kept both men looking strong. They both sort of rise. Shawn Michaels keeps getting up, and Triple H is good at selling that. He's like, fuck's sake, why won't you stay down? And then he stumbles into a super kick. They're both full. And then at 9, Shawn Michaels teases that he might rise, but then falls back down. And the crowd starts booing the shit out of it pretty much instantaneously as Earl Hebner counts to 10. It was good. It was a good match, but it was by no means a banger. It was not a 5-star classic by any means. Considering that these two are regarded as two world-class legends, I expected better. I expected it to be at least on the level of the SummerSlam street fight, and frankly, it wasn't close for my money. And I was left feeling a little bit flat and a bit disappointed because although I'm not the biggest Triple H fan, never have been, and when I was young, I hated Shawn Michaels, though I love him now, I really thought this was going to be awesome. And it was actually really lackluster and frankly left me quite deflated.
Yeah, I thought that the brutality in it was nowhere near didn't match the blood that you got, which made the blood seem cartoonish. Obviously, it is actually their blood, but you know what I mean? It just kind of, they're both bleeding like a stuck pig. And it's like, well, we've not even seen them take that many kind of big shots to the face or the head or whatever. Like a couple of chair shots, as you say, like the couple of, you know, being smacked around on the table a bit. And they're just bleeding like bitches straight away. And it's kind of, you're looking like, well, okay, fine. And they're bleeding from like fucking 5 minutes into the match or something as well. So you don't even build to that drama. It's just, no, we need blood from straight away in order to sell it, which is always lazy, quite frankly. It's kind of lazy. If you build to blood later on, then it works. But if there's blood straight off the bat and you're both bleeding, it's just kind of, it's just lazy, to be honest. It is a good match. It's a very good match. You know, it's a 3.5-star match, I would say, but it does leave you feeling a bit kind of, and as well, watching with hindsight, I suppose, where we've seen so much of these two going at it over the years, this one isn't kind of one of their absolute best. It's very good, but they've done better. So, you know, with that kind of benefit of hindsight, and as you say, the finish just doesn't help matters. Shawn manages to turn the crowd around by refusing to take the stretcher, and I like that storytelling because in the build-up promo, you know, Triple H was going on about, you know, you beat me the last time we met, but then you left on a stretcher, so who looked like the winner really? And Shawn's being stretchered out and he refuses and walks out. Good storytelling. Nothing wrong with that, and it wins the crowd back round. Veteran move. But, yeah, you know when you watch something and it's like half an hour or fuck knows how long this match is, half an hour long, and you don't get a winner, and you're like, I've just wasted half an hour of my time. If you're going to give me a fuck finish, make it 15. Like, make it a 15-minute match so I don't have to care. If it's going to be this long, I need to have some kind of payoff at the end of it. And the fact that you don't just makes you feel like you've wasted your time.
Yeah, it was a long match. And like you say, when you've put that level of investment and emotion into it, to only get that, it's quite disappointing. It's funny you mentioned 3.5 stars. I have written down here 3.5 out of 5. Written down there exactly. I like this match, but I felt the ending was overdone, and frankly, the match spent way too long pissing about on the outside. Good, but hardly a classic from two massive legends. Well, it's time for your Royal Rumble match, or is it? Apparently, we need to get a load of bollocks in first.
Yes.
There's the Royal Rumble match. Then Bischoff comes down. I think, oh God, what the fuck? And then Heyman comes down to give him some shit back because how dare you slag me off? And then before, I gotta be honest, I love Stone Cold. He's one of the greats of all time, but I hated him as just a character backstage. Didn't like it. Boring. boring because it was the same thing every fucking time. It was just, yeah.
You knew what was going to happen, didn't you? As soon as they started scrapping, you knew what was going to happen. You knew the glass was going to break. You knew he was going to come down. You knew he was going to start dishing out stunners. You knew he was going to stun everyone. He wasn't just going to stun one. You know, yeah.
Boring. I've seen it a million times. It doesn't really need much in that respect. Although I did really enjoy Heyman going, please don't stun at me, stun at him. He's terrifying.
Yeah. Heyman's so good.
And he's also super skinny at this point by comparison to what he is now.
Comparison, yeah.
Yeah, everyone's. We also got Brock confronting Goldberg and backstage building towards a possible collision later down the line. Yeah, pretty pointless. Just a couple of meatheads yelling at each other.
Did you notice Goldberg pretended that Hardcore Holly was behind Brock Lesnar to sort of scare Brock Lesnar?
That was the only real. That was actually probably the funniest thing Goldberg did in his entire tenure.
But why does Goldberg call him Hardcore and not Bob? Hi, Hardcore. Why would you call him by that? Why wouldn't you be like, you're right, Bob? Stupid.
Right, Bob.
Hated that. Irritated me.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Bill.
Fuck you, Bill. Nice going, William Goldberg.
William Goldberg the second, or whatever.
I was just thinking that. It does sound like that kind of name, doesn't it?
Yeah.
William Goldberg the second. It's where's Mick Foley? Apparently he's a coward. And then JR just like, fine, he's a coward. Fine. Fine.
It's like a stroppy teenage girl.
And then we get, Taz's keys to the Royal Rumble victory are amazing. There are 3 on here, and I've narrowed them down to hide, cardio, and less cardio, more lateness, which is basically the insinuations here. So, right, it's time to get on with it. The Royal Rumble match. Let's be honest. If you're watching a show like this, you're waiting for the Rumble match, aren't you? Everything else is kind of there to sort of fill a gap.
Accoutrement.
Yeah, accoutrement, an entree. And funny you mentioned that because there is a couple of Frenchies in this one, at least one.
There is, yeah.
Yeah, very amusingly. Number 1 is number 1 in our hearts and number 1 in the Rumble. It's Chris Benoit. Oh, baby. Who's number 2? Well, who else? IC champion Randy Orton. Evolution. Yes. Orton, baby. Oh, so much Orton at this point. I was uber Orton, Mark. I thought he was the bollocks. Benoit versus Orton to start a Royal Rumble is slightly better than Dolph Ziggler versus Zack Ryder, would you say? I'm happy about this. I really enjoyed this. I'm not going to run down all of them because I've got loads of people written down here. I did write down everything. I thought it was quite good foreshadowing as well that Benoit and Orton started because we will see more of that later down the line. But this was a good Royal Rumble match. I've got to be honest. This was one of the first Rumble matches that involved a good amount of wrestling. Do you remember they used to always be about brawling and tedium and now they're by this point, I think 2000 was really the first clear start of that when they had the Rock and Big Show angle as well at the end. So they started putting proper storylines into the Rumble instead of just they had also 98 when Austin came down from the crowd. There was that gimmick of who got to Stone Cold before the Rumble, but the problem there was still no wrestling. So this was the era of great wrestling. I think 2001 still my favorite Rumble, though. That's my benchmark.
Hardcore Rumble.
Yeah, just perfect. So much carny bollocks, so much fun, and also a plethora of great stars as well, which helps. But this one's pretty stacked, to be fair. Pretty
Who
stacked.
the hell is Rico? I don't remember Rico at all.
He was in charge of 3-minute warning for a little bit. He was their game manager. Do you remember when?
That's Rico.
Yeah, that's Rico.
He didn't last long, but when you're watching someone come down and go, "What the fuck? What's going on here?"
This is how you know that you have very little life. And when I immediately went, "Ha, Rico!" I thought, I need to get out more. Tadges is in there. Love to be a Tadges. Wasn't in there long enough for my money. Although getting a tarantula on Mark Henry was fucking impressive. I was very cool, even though it was one leg. I thought it was bloody cool. There are a few highlights I sort of marked down here. One that I particularly enjoyed was when Rene Dupree came down, did his little dance, and then got Savat kicked in the face and went straight out. I thought that was really funny. French songs. I really like Matt Morgan coming out and going full Hoss, and I thought that was going to be awesome because I just had written down, whoa, Matt Morgan versus Test, where is it? Whoa, fucking hot. Getting the fucking match because Mick Foley beats him out and takes his place. That was one of the big highlights of his match, was Mick Foley coming down, surprise, he's not a coward, attacking Orton and eliminating him and then Orton simultaneously in the Rumble to help build for later down the line. This rivalry goes, it forms quite a decent proportion of 2004, and some would argue gives Randy Orton the gateway to becoming a star. He became so, which is why it's one of the biggest reasons we're doing this run is because of the era of Orton, shall I say, but it's also kind of the era of Eddie Guerrero as well, which I think is quite cool. So it's nice that there are quite a few different things for us to get our teeth into. Love the Undertaker gong going off and upsetting Kane. Gets eliminated from behind by Booker T.
Of course, he's been the biker taker, hasn't he? For ages and ages and ages, been buried alive, and we're going to get the return of the Phenom after 4 or 5 years away.
This was the first tease of him coming back as the Dead Man, and I remember watching this live and popping my tits off. I thought it was incredible, and Kane sells it beautifully. Comes in as Destroyer, gets eliminated. Kurt Angle has this little running sort of gimmick of, I'm going to do it for the troops. That's always going to end badly. It's weird enough that he's the mediator for the Guerrero family. That seems
that was so odd.
Really odd for a guy of his level. I don't understand why Kurt Angle is hanging around doing mid-card shit.
Hanging around Chavo.
Exactly. Getting the stink from Chavo Classic. It's very strange. I know he is gearing up for a heel turn later down the line, but yeah, it's almost like they kind of had him in a holding pattern until they knew what to do with him. I like Goldberg's little turn in the Rumble. His spear to Nunzio was violent. He almost killed Nunzio. I like Nunzio on the outside, and then John Cena comes down. He gives it the old Italian, fuck you. Giving him the hand gestures and that. There are a lot of funny little highlights to this, but ultimately, this Rumble is kind of remembered for the fact that it is the one that Benoit wins. He goes from number one till the end. Now, obviously, retrospective history is not going to tell you that Chris Benoit won because he's redacted. But, Chris Benoit eliminates the Big Show. Also, there's that wonderful moment, isn't there? Last four, right? Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle, and the Big Show. You've got three of the greatest wrestlers to ever walk this earth, and you got Chris Jericho. What the fuck are you doing? Absolutely terrible. Do you know what was really funny as well? When Chris Jericho's music hit, I immediately went, "It's the AEW World Heavyweight Champion!" It's so random that 15 years on, and he's at the top of the mountain. That's incredible. Yeah, wow. And then Big Show ruins it, doesn't he? He's like, so you've got all your favourites. Well, get out. Starts loving them all out. It's just like that Rumble in Philadelphia that Roman Reigns won, that Kane and Big Show tried to ruin, and then The Rock came down to save Roman Reigns. No wonder Philadelphia is so fucking pissed off. They keep getting fed this horse shit. This Royal Rumble match, though, was good fun. I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it a lot. It's something about the Royal Rumble, isn't it? It's great carny fun. Who's next? I purposely didn't look at any spoilers or results for this because I wanted to just enjoy the format. They give it away a bit. Scott Steiner being in this Rumble was very amusing to me as well. There were some really surprise entrants, people you wouldn't expect. Like Steve says, who the fuck is Rico? Matt Morgan was a surprise as well. I felt Matt Morgan should have done so much more. And he ended up being so good at TNA as well.
Yeah, where he ends up, 2 years later or so. He's 2 or 3 years later, he's a big deal in TNA.
Yeah, Shelton Benjamin's in this Rumble and does literally nothing, which is highly disappointing. Ernest the Cat Miller, fuck off.
I did pop when he came down.
You did, you cretin. The only thing I liked about it was when Benoit went to eliminate, I forgot his name, Leon, I think, his manager, and he threw the wig out instead of him, and I thought that was really fun.
That was great.
Really good stuff. He, just
Benoit was some classic comedy.
I know, right?
Slapstick Benoit. That's what we used to call him.
Benoit's good at removing things from the head. Oh, sorry.
Allegedly.
So I must admit, I did enjoy it. There's plenty in there. I really wanted to see, as soon as his music part, I really want to see your face when Mr. Ass made his return, because I know that you're not a fan of Billy Gunn. I bet you were just sneering at the
fucking it's one of those just numb, Jesus Christ. Yeah. He come in and gave the famous to Kurt Angle as well. So, Kurt, you're better than that, Kurt, for fuck's sake.
Billy Gunn. Also, Big Show, still 3 years on, still hasn't learned how to front bump. There were 2 points in this where he took a fucking big front bump finisher, and both times he just rolls onto his side. Oh, fuck you big cretin. Take the bump. It fucking annoyed the shit out of me. I hate front bumps, and even I can fucking do it. It's like, oh, you arsehole. Really annoyed the shit out of me. RVD looks haggard as fuck, by the way. 3 years ago, he was the MVP of WWF, and here he is 3 years later looking absolutely wankered off his nut.
The wellness policy was not in full effect in 2004.
Fuck, you're right, it was, especially with Trips walking around bloated off his tits like the Goodyear balloon.
Exactly. Got fucking him, Flair, Randy Orton shitting in everyone's kit bags, and fucking RVD stoned off his fucking pajamas, wandering about. It's great stuff. My highlights of this Royal Rumble, and it's because it's not nice watching it back to an extent, but the fucking chair shots that Randy Orton gives, and because Mick Foley is an absolute nutcase, he refuses to put his hand up for chair shots, and they're just sickening. He tells everyone, swing as hard as you can, and people are like, oh yeah, that's fine. He'll get his hand up, and Mick's like, ha, fuck you, concussion. And just literally, he just eats chair shots for breakfast, gets up, takes another one. You're like, Jesus Christ, mate. What are you doing? No wonder you can barely fucking walk, you sick fuck. I mean, he takes like a bump on the steel ramp, I think it is. And it doesn't even look spectacular, but you know that it hurts like a shit. You know that that's really painful. But, it's not like he's come off the top of the Hell in a Cell and gone through a table or anything's exploded. If he just did a simple table bump, it would look more spectacular because shit's flying everywhere. There's debris. He's just taking a bump, flat back bump, back of his head onto the steel ramp. You know that hurts like a fuck. But it doesn't, he's not going to get the pop that it deserves. It's just, the guy's a fucking nutcase. Absolute nutcase.
Yeah, it was definitely the most jarring moments. The second one was just horrific. God, nasty. Like the kind of thing that would genuinely give you a debilitative disease, man.
Yeah.
Fucking horrific. This is why CBT is a thing now, ladies and gentlemen. Terrifying, absolutely terrifying. Chris Benoit wins the Royal Rumble and sets the wheels in motion, not only for the road to WrestleMania, but for the road to Manic Monday's conclusion, all the way back at Armageddon. It's a good start, to be honest, for the era. I didn't think the undercard was particularly great, but there's plenty of storylines there, and you can see them all setting into motion. I think 2004 gets better as the year progresses for me, and this Royal Rumble kind of sets it off. It's exciting to be able to cover a WrestleMania in full. We haven't covered a Mania yet either, so to be able to cover a Royal Rumble and a WrestleMania in full is pretty awesome.
Yeah, WrestleMania 20 is, I think, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, exactly. Which at the time was a big fucking deal. It was for Madison Square Garden. It's a huge, huge deal, this pay-per-view, and there's a lot of big names and big surprises.
Stars come out to play, yeah.
They really do. They really do. But yeah, all in all, half decent pay-per-view. Not terrible to watch and decent enough. Again, we're still in this point where it's about 2 hours 45, 3 hours maximum. And for a larger pay-per-view like Royal Rumble, where they now try and force 5 hours down your throat, I was pleasantly surprised by that. At least I knew that after Triple H and that slumming it up and taking their time, thank God I was given the Rumble match straight after that. And the Rumble match is so frenetic that you can't really...
Time flies with the Rumble.
Yeah, it does. It's fun as well. And I think the majority of people, I've always said this since I was a kid, the Royal Rumble is the one thing I will watch indefinitely. Even if I hated WWE and didn't want to watch it, I'll still watch the Rumble because it's great. And I love the surprise. And I love the random carny nature of it. And they do Rumbles beautifully. No one else can do a Royal Rumble like WWE.
No,
Everyone else tried and imitated, but nobody does it like WWE. And for that reason, I thought this pay-per-view was well worth a watch. And for anyone watching along, I know Jay Miller especially has been watching along with us, and I appreciate your interactions as well, mate. I'm sorry we couldn't get to the other ones because obviously we'd already recorded them. So I just think that this is a match, go... There's not much here that I would recommend people go and watch, but watch the Rumble match. Rumble match is good. And, Rumble matches are great to watch anyway. Even if you're not listening to our podcast, you can stick a Rumble match on in the background. But all in all, a half-decent pay-per-view. I think it gets a solid 3 out of 5 as an overall pay-per-view for me.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Now, I have taken down that there is a young TNA floating around the wrestling scene in 2004, and they are still using... They are using the NWA belts at this point. They're not using their own belts yet. So, I'm going to ask you. NWA X Championship. So, what becomes, of course, the X Division title. Who is the NWA X Champion in January of 2004.
Oh my god, they've only been going about a year and a half at this point. It's the safe bet is AJ Styles, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say low key.
No, it was Chris Sabin.
Oh, awesome! Oh,
Yeah.
he's been going some time. Chris Sabin, he's in Ring of Honor now. Jesus.
Yeah. Okay, the NWA Tag Team Champions.
I forgot their name now. Is it James Storm and Chris Harris, America's Most Wanted?
No, it was 3 Live Crew. Ron Killings, Conan, and BG James, also known as the Road Dogg.
Yes.
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 And your NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Got to be a safe bet. I'm going to go with Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, it is. Double J. He loves awarding himself a title.
Remember that music?
Double R-E double T.
Oh.
It's not your place, don't tell skin, it's on your face. If you side with me, you will see it's king.
Yes, mate. Oh, fantastic. I love me some TNA. Yeah, I was thinking that as an idea. I thought, I wonder if Steve's going to do Champions, or maybe she'll do TNA for a laugh. Luckily, you've got us covered. He comes through in the clutch. Anything to add, mate, before we wrap it up?
No, it was just, I enjoyed the Royal Rumble. I always love a Royal Rumble. It is probably my favourite pay-per-view of the year. It's the one that I look forward to the most because even if the undercard's a bit crap, you generally know that the Rumble match is going to deliver. And usually the undercard's a bit crap with a really good title match and a really good Rumble. That's kind of the pattern for Royal Rumbles over the years. They've got better recently because they've given everyone an hour all of the time. But yeah, no, this was a really good start to the year. And as you say, it's the rise of Eddie Guerrero, it's Chris Benoit getting to the top, and it's the kind of the beginnings of Randy Orton going on to become, the star that we recognize that he became over the years, while Triple H desperately clings to power. Awesome.
Yeah, I really hope people are going to enjoy this, man, because there is so many great things in there that you've mentioned. Like this is Eddie Guerrero's greatest moment. This is the rise of the Legend Killer. This is the return of the Dead Man. So many great things happen in 2004, which is one of the major reasons why we picked it, because we thought this would really resonate with our audience. So if you are listening, let us know what you think, and most importantly as well, obviously you got to jump ahead of time a bit because we tried to record as many as we can. But if you do have any opinions, send them in and we will endeavour to cover them. It may be on a later podcast in the series, so don't be surprised. It might be a little bit jarring to hear opinions on, I don't know, WrestleMania, during the SummerSlam podcast or whatever it is, but we will endeavour to cover them because I think it's fair, and people make the effort to listen and check out the shows, and it's very cool that people like Jay Miller be like Jay Miller, follow along with us, enjoy it, watch a bit of it on the network if you're struggling for something to watch. But most importantly, the great thing about these things is you can go back to them and check out our opinions and have a bit of a laugh and revisit this stuff just like we do whenever you please, because this back catalogue is always going to be available to you. It's always going to be available to you for free. Steve Neal, thank you very much for joining me, mate, as always, for a bit of Manic Mondays.
No worries, man. Absolute pleasure. It's No Way Out up next, mate, so we're going to dive into that bad boy.
Yes, indeed. There's no way out. Do you remember that? The old Deadly Game stuff.
Fuck's sake.
It's a deadly game.
Bring back No Way Out. It's No Way Out pay-per-view anymore. Bring it fucking back.
Yeah,
one of the ones they sacked off.
No Way Out is when you knew you were getting close to the big one, WrestleMania, when you saw No Way Out. They'd always have some nasty, violent blow-off match to build to WrestleMania, which I always thought was really cool. So, yeah, bring that back and bring No Mercy back while you're at it and all. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. From myself, Mirrors and from Steve Neal, make sure you check out everything the Wrestle Plug has to offer. Every Monday, it's Manic Mondays, and every Thursday, it's the state of it, the state of our wrestling address. So make sure you tune in on both of those days. You can subscribe and download where all podcasts and good podcasts are available. Spotify, Apple, Podbean, Stitcher, we're available on all of them, so make sure you subscribe by searching Wrestle Plug. Until then, take it easy, gang, and we'll catch you very soon for more nonsense from 2004 and Manic Mondays.